So it appears that we are on our way back down. Let's do some market analysis. Now, if you are new here, this is speculation, probability. If you like my video, hit the like. Cool, right? On the screen, we're going to go straight to the traditional markets. Okay, first thing, Twitter slid off a cliff because Elon Musk decides not to join the board. Fair enough. I wouldn't want to sit in a lot of meetings neither. But the futures are not looking great. Currently today, it is basically noon UK time as I record this, right? So you'll see it in a few hours late. But that's never a good sign when the morning's a bit ropey on a Monday. It is early. The markets have not changed in terms of dynamic from obviously Monday. And we are gearing up towards Easter as well. So we've got to be careful with the market openings over the course of the next week or so. But what's happening? The market's actually dropping quite significantly. And as much as I was like, oh, it's a correction. But in today's video, you're going to learn that it's a little bit ropey, not great. And I'll be honest with you, it's affected some of my decisions as well over the weekend. If you're in my Patreon, you'll know I pulled a lot of my money out of the market on Friday because I wasn't going to be around this weekend. I didn't want to just be flopping if I was away somewhere, whatever it may be, right? And it's important to have any spare cash that you have in the market non-deployable if you are not sure about the market conditions. It's always nicer to put it back in later on. Now, we have some information coming out tomorrow. CPI every month, mid-month, usually comes out, and we can see here we have the consumer price indexes and all the consumer indexes coming out, and we'll see how things go with price of goods and services as per what the inflation rate is, right? Okay, you're probably confused now. Always matters, always change things, but the reason why it matters, and I'll come on to it in a minute in the charts, will be the dollar, right? The dollar index is hugely important. We've also got Bank of England stuff as well. I think, no, not Bank of England, sorry, Bank of Canada. Monetary policy updates, which could be interesting. I think we have Bank of England stuff as well at some point in the next week or so. But hey, cool. Right. Why am I cautious? BTC has failed to lift up. Now, it could quite easily lift up from around this point once the market has settled down, but the volume hasn't increased yet. The market sentiment hasn't increased yet. There seems to be an absence of certain things. I want to look at a few things that could be game over for us, which I know is a big statement to say. Yes, we have made a new high. Yes, we could be making a higher low. However, you need hype, you need momentum, you need something to give it a boost. And we haven't really had that yet. And I'm kind of skeptical of the two people in the market that are buying all the time. And everyone's probably counter trading them, right? You've got Duke Wan and you've got Mr. Saylor, right? Big, important, influential people buying lots of Bitcoin, but that hasn't affected the price at all. It's actually done the opposite effect, which is interesting in itself, right? So, market analysis, wishy-washy. That is where we are right now. 618 levels has to hold. Has to hold. If it doesn't hold, we could probably argue that that is a big fake out, right? So this is why I'm cautious. We need to make sure that is happening. Situation number A is the fact that we are in a range. Number 2 is we are below the EMA 21, which is not good on the 3-day time frame. That is the impulse swing. It looks pretty awful. Now, we're now looking at the dominance chart of the stablecoin. So I've put them all together. USDT, USDC, and UST, right? They're all together. This is why 8.4% or 8.04%, sorry. Rule. If you've never understood dominance chart, there's only one rule. Up means bad, down means good. Right? So why does that mean that? When it goes up, it would indicate that more money is in stablecoins, right? So that would indicate certain things are happening. That is more dominant versus everything else, i.e. money has gone from altcoins or BTC, whatever, into those stables. Down means great. Yeah, because money's going out of stable currencies into the market. Cool. We're going up. All right, so situation could be impulse, a correction, and we could be going back up. Could be going back up is a key word. It could also be a downtrend as well. So again, probability is speculation. We could be forming a higher low and we could be doing a run to the downside potentially. So we've got so many situations. This is why I'm saying I'm cautious, because as I mentioned in my Patreon video on Thursday, it's like a game of red light, green light on Squid Game. We've got a few green lights, we've got a few red lights, and it depends on what way you rotate if you get shot or not, essentially, right? So we've got a bullish scenario where money could be going back into the market at some point. If we hit levels of support, we could be just going and continuing. But we've also got another situation where, what about if this is just a correction? What about if this is just in and around where this light level is, and we could be just going up. What about if that is the case? We've seen that before in that chart pattern. Both are likely. So we'll see. I'm going to just remove that because I genuinely don't know what way that's going to go. That could be very, very different. If BTC loses at 618 level, expect that chart to go higher. Basically, that is probably the rule of thumb to go with. Other things to look at, and again, I'm talking about game over. What about the dominance chart of BTC? Well, this is also very, very interesting. Now, my foot is we are in a downtrend, right? It's a very, very clear and obvious downtrend. We are making a high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high. If we create a lower low, obviously it's an alt season and everything's tickety-boo. However, if BTC does one or two things, pump like crazy, and altcoins don't keep up, that will go up, or the market crashes, that will go up because people will panic in altcoins. Remember, 1v25 million, 1,100 shit coins, that's going to go up. So game over if that happens. So just be very, very, very careful. Now, overall on the altcoins, right? Ethereum looks good versus everything else, even though it's performing the worst. This was, last week, the best performing asset in terms of the high cap coins, in terms of the absolute structure. It looked beautiful. But right now, it's holding up on that support level on the EMA 21, right now, at the moment. It's not looking great, but ultimately that's what you want in a correction. But as I say, red light, green light. We've got a lot of red lights, we've got a lot of green lights. We've got to look at a few more things before we can decide. BTC pair looked pretty all right, to be fair, and still does, right? So that's okay. But we need to be careful about one or two things. And as I mentioned, the dollar. So a lot of people are trading this based off technicals. Personally, I wouldn't. I'd wait and see what happens with tomorrow. I'd wait and see what happens in the next few weeks as well, depending on a few things that could be changing with the interest rates, obviously. Now, as mentioned in previous contents, interest rates, CPIs, inflation rates, quantitative easing, you've got different kind of war policy going on as well. Stocks are behaving a bit weirdly. It's going to create for uncertainty, right? The dollar will become strong in uncertainty. It always does, right? So when we see, over the course of this last 12 months, we've just been trending up quite nicely. I don't think it's going to turn around anytime soon, in my personal thoughts, right? And the reason why I say this, if you look at the monthly time frame, I think this month we may well print 100 and probably print it. That could be worrying, but it wouldn't shock me in the slightest. Now, if we look at the past data here, looking at all these crashes, pre-crashes and stuff like that, this is where the last crash was. Yeah, we could go much lower. Of course we can. But this is why I'm thinking when the stock market does turn around a little bit, we may well see an increase in this, the melt up, as they say, and then we will probably see it drop. And that could be the sign of the bullish market of crypto taking off, which may happen next year or the year after, not this year. Personal thoughts. Now, last thing before I go, the NASDAQ, uncertainty, impulse all the way back down. Let's see where this goes. The NASDAQ looks a little bit different versus everything else. Why? When we look at the DJI, personally, looks a bit rough. Looks a bit rough. Look at the SPX, though. We have got a very, very clear, in my opinion, a very, very clear higher low sort of situation where it's looking a bit meh. Looking at these higher time frames in the weekly time frame, we've pulled up and we've kind of stopped here pretty significantly. Doesn't look great, does it? Now, if this is, as I say, if this is going to continue going lower and there's uncertainty in the stock market, that dollar chart will probably go higher, which is not good for crypto, clearly. So that's why red light, green light, yeah, we're looking a bit ropey on a lot of things. So that is today's video done. Inconclusive as my decision. BTC at a problem where it needs to hold and carry on going higher. Stock markets look like they're printing lower highs. The dollar chart is incredibly strong. The dominance chart is indecisive. Yeah, great. Speculation, that's all the analysis you need to do. If you enjoy this video, leave it a like. Ciao, ciao.